Another edition of Clanfidential. Aaron Murphy, honored to have Gary Haden on. And Hayes, we were just talking off camera a little bit about the Youth Olympics and being a young guy playing hockey. Just wanted to ask you, when you were growing up, who was it that you maybe idolized? Was there a favorite player? And I think I know the answer, but who was your favorite team growing up?
Well, favorite team growing up was the Calgary Flames, obviously. Growing up just outside of Calgary, being old enough to remember the '04 run, my dad taking me, luckily, to a few of the games. I still remember that being a young kid. And now that I've gotten older, the playoffs is nothing beats in Calgary. So obviously Calgary. And when I was younger, I'd probably say like Jerome McGinley. Obviously, he was there scoring goals, 50 goal scorer all the time. And then as I got a little bit older, like I got really into Patrick Kane. Cut my hair, had a mullet, had all that. I was big time Patrick Kane guy, so probably those two.
What's it going to take for us to convince you to bring the mullet back? Do we need to some sort of bonus for how good it looks, or what do we need to do to get the mullet back, Hayes?
Oh, I don't know. I look back at the pictures of myself, and I remember my mom being like, "You're gonna regret it one day." And I look back, I'm like, "Why'd you let me do that, Mom? I look so bad." But no, I don't know. It would take a lot, probably.
We probably don't have enough time and enough money, enough time to grow it, and enough. But okay, we need pictures. We need pictures of the mullet. Maybe your family could get us some pictures of the mullet that we can put on the next Clanfidential. Who was the biggest influence in your career? Because some of your teammates, when we've asked them that, they've had all kinds of answers. It usually comes down to family, but biggest influences on the point of you becoming a pro hockey player.
For sure, two people. One being my dad. Obviously, he worked so hard growing up for us. Like I'm the oldest of four kids, so he worked two jobs to put us all through sports. So without him, obviously, and he pushed me. I like telling the stories. They're visiting right now. We telling the stories about when you kind of hit that age where you got to like take it really seriously with like working out and stuff. And there's some days where my dad would make me work out after dinner, and I did not like him. And I was like, like, Dad, I don't want to do this, but he pushed me, he made me do it, and without him, I wouldn't be where I am for sure. And probably from like a hockey coach wise, my midget hockey coach Dan McDonald. At a very young age, he got me like onto like mindset. Like at 15 years old, talking about mindset, thinking about the mental side of the game. So I feel like a step up and always been around that. So those two people for sure.
We talked a little bit, and I hope you don't mind me bringing it up because I have great admiration for anyone who works in the fire department or fire services. And people don't know that I quit TV in Toronto for a few years, and I went and did my fireman's qualifications in Toronto, and I was on a waiting list. And then an opportunity came to come to Dublin and do some NHL stuff, and the rest, as they say, is history. But I was going down that road of becoming a fireman. So your dad, like you said, he worked really hard, and that's an admirable job to try and help your kids become pro players, isn't it, being a member of the fire department?
Yeah, and it was always really cool too. He was really good with like bringing us around the hall and stuff like that. And I'd always give him a hard time when I got a little bit older. I was like, "You guys just eat ice cream and play ping pong around here. Like you guys don't." But it's and I think in my grandfather too, he was a captain at the fire hall, so it kind of runs in the Hayden blood. So maybe when hockey is done, that would be something I look at for sure. Just like the team aspect too, it seems like a great calling for me as well. Just the way you interact with people and such. So.
Well, let's hope there's plenty of games in purple and plenty of trophies before you go back to play ping pong and eat ice cream at the fire department. What's the pregame meal? Like, what fuels you? I mean, you're on a run right now, 17 goals in league play, 19 assists. You're on fire right now. What's fueling Gary Haden right now in the pregame meal?
The same thing it's been since I was about 17. Nothing changes. Get home from the rink for morning skate. I do bacon and eggs and toast, and then same pasta and chicken at the same time. It's just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I like the way it makes my body feel. So sometimes it gets a little stagnant. And that's why when I go home in the summertime, I say, like if I'm going over to mom and dad's house, I say, please just no pasta. Just give me a little bit of time without chicken and pasta. But yeah, it's all part of it and what you need to do to fill your body.
Do not change a thing with the run you're on right now. Let's keep the bacon and eggs and all that going. What's the favorite music? Are you a country guy? Like I know some of the guys like the country on non-game days, but on game days they want a little bit of a shakeup. So what's on the playlist for Hayes?
Like depends. Like on the way to the rink in the morning, country, like still like waking up, nice stuff. And then on the way back from the rink, I'm an older soul, I guess you could say. I like Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then before the game, like probably 90s rap, like early on Eminem stuff to get me going. So
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers. You don't have to be an old soul. You're making me feel old if you think that the Red Hot Chili Peppers is old soul. I mean, you could go back to the Doors or Led Zeppelin if you want to really be an old soul. But yeah, the Chili Peppers are a favorite. We've obviously got some longer travel days coming from Scotland. What is it that you're listening to or watching, sorry, on Netflix, or do you download movies on travel days, whether you're sitting around the airport or on a long bus journey?
yeah, it kind of just depends. Obviously, like day of the game, I like watching The Office. It's my favorite TV show. Probably seen every episode. Well, who knows how many times? Probably a scary stat. But no, I like murder mysteries on Netflix. Kind of just whatever catches my eye. If I'm just trying to kill time, I'll throw like a good comedy movie that I've seen a few times just for a few laughs, or play cards with the guys and whatnot. So yeah.
Are you watching the NFL playoffs? Were you kind of glued to the highlights of the championship games? And do you have a prediction on the Super Bowl?
Yeah, no, I'm a big football fan. I was the commissioner of the fantasy football league this year for the clan. Prediction, yeah, it's gonna be close. It's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the run he's on. He'll never be as good as Tom Brady, but I don't know. I would like to see the 49ers win, and I think they do got a good team. So I would pick right now the 49ers, but it'll be a close game.
Well, I'm a little bit hurt. I'm a big football guy. I did not get the invite to the clan fantasy. Were you worried that I'd be too good at picking the winners, guy? If
Yeah, I
that's the
guess
case, I'll let
so.
you have a pass. But next year, I'll expect an invite to that. I mean, do you guys have a hockey pool going as well?
Not that I'm aware of. No, we just kind of did the yeah, like the the NFL football, and it was really good. So
What's your favorite city that you've played in? It could be going back to junior, or maybe it's now in your professional career. Is there a city when you see it, when you saw it as a younger man, or now, and you see it circle on the calendar and go, I can't wait to get back there?
yeah, for me, like growing up playing in the Western Hockey League, like I grew up going to Hitman games, like all the time. That was like the cool. Like I love that. Like that's what made me want to play in the Western Hockey League. So like obviously, anytime I got to play in Calgary, that game was circle on the calendar. Having like a large extended family too, like my first ever game in Calgary, I had about 100 friends and family come because it was over Christmas, and I'll never. And then I scored like 3 minutes into the game too. Like it was one of those moments that like I'll never forget for the rest of my life. And then yeah, I don't know. In pro, I like obviously playing in Glasgow is awesome every night. We got great fans. It's always loud. You know what you're gonna expect. On the road, I don't know. They're all good. Like I like playing in Sheffield. Nice rink. It's going to be a good atmosphere too. And Nottingham's a really nice rink as well. But there's really no place that is bad to play, I would say.
And you mentioned the family's over right now. Have you been doing the sightseeing? Have you got to St. Andrews, or what's been on the sort of the tour date here?
Yeah, we've done a few things. We've done the castles in Stirling, Edinburgh. They're actually in Belfast right now. They went to Belfast for a few days, so that was good for them just to see a bunch. And then they're going to come down when we go down to Sheffield and then hang around in England and see. I think they're seeing a Man United game, so I'm really excited for them to be able to see a lot. And it's awesome that all three of my siblings were able to come too. It's like the first family vacation we've had in over 10 plus years when we all went to Disneyland. So it's cool to have everyone over here and just get to see a different part of the world.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Talk about on the ice, and you talk about memories of playing in Calgary and all that. Who's one of the best players? Who do you think back? Who's the best player you've ever played against?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would probably say Matt Barzell's got to be up there. Playing against him in junior, I was 17, and that was near the Seattle Thunderbirds won it all, and you're just kind of in awe. And they got like Keegan Kolazar, all these guys, Ethan Brad playing the NHL. And Barzell had like 3 points in the first 5 minutes, and it was just a long night for old Medicine Hat. I think we lost like 9-1, but I was just truly on the bench, just in awe. Like this guy's unbelievable. So he'd be up there, and obviously it's too bad his career got cut short. But Nolan Patrick was quite the player as well, and I played against Kel McCarr growing up too. So
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty good list. And you watch those guys skating, yeah, it's got to be amazing sitting on the bench watching Kale McCarr. Was by who's the toughest guy you've ever, or maybe even it's a teammate, the toughest guy you've been around, competitor, or just one of those guys that you hate to play against but love playing with.
it's a tough question. obviously, like I got to give Dice some credit because he's always got my back, so he's got to be up there for sure. And then this guy, this guy I played with in junior, probably plays in the American Hockey League, Riley McKay. He was, I've never seen just a small guy, but he'd fight anyone and anything. Didn't matter what night in and night out, and he's still doing it. And that's why he's playing where he is.
Well, you mentioned Dyson pound for pound, one of the toughest players in the league. There's no doubt about that. Great leader and all that. We certainly miss him. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. You look at it, there's some characters in the room, and we've had a bit of an up and down season. So sometimes you need that levity in the room when after a loss, and then you get a win. But so you can't get too high or too low. But who's in the room is funny and is good for a one-liner to kind of bring everyone back to reality.
There's lots of guys. We have one of the funnest like dressing rooms I've ever been a part of. Like it's a great group in there. Obviously, like Solar's really good, but like undercover, I like Lyncher's hilarious, and obviously Combsy. We sit beside each other, and Combsy's always stirring the pot. There seems someone new every day, so it's a great group. And yeah, it's probably those three are probably I think the funnier guys.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think fans and we need to that's why we like doing the Clanfidentials and we need to probably do a little bit more of that stuff. It's great to see the personalities and when you meet Luke Lynch, he's got the big beard and he's kind of gruff, but he's soft spoken and all that. And I would imagine he's quite a prankster because he doesn't say much, but when he says something, it's got to be out of left field.
Yeah, so you got like him, like you said, like kind of soft spoken, chipping in, and then you have like Combsy, who's always just kind of like just he's like a top. You just spin him and he just keeps going. Like when we play, there's a board game. There's a board game we like to play called Catan. And so it's like a 4-person board game, and whatever Solar normally plays too. And we kind of like get Charlie going all the time to see how fired up we'll get, and then certain guys don't like us playing at certain spots because then Charlie gets too loud and whatnot. But no, it's like I said, it's a great group of guys, and I'm having a lot of fun this year.
Obviously, a lot of changes over the last few years, and certainly a good group and going in the right direction, in my opinion. And just great to see the guys enjoying being around the arena and stuff. Yes, we'd like a few more wins, but they're coming too. And we've got a big game coming up on February 7th, of course, with a chance to get through to a Challenge Cup final. So a lot of positives. But if you weren't a hockey player and if you weren't enjoying the success you're on right now with the 17 goals in league play and sort of chance to get through to the cup final on that, what would you be if you weren't a hockey player?
I honestly don't know, Murph. Like since I've been 3 years old, I've been dead set I'm gonna play hockey. But I like the firefighting thing. Like I said, it's always kind of intrigued me. And even after the game, like I would be really interested to work in the game when I'm done playing, whether that's in a management role or a coaching role and whatnot. And I've already begun. I took coaching classes at the University of Alberta, and in the summertime, work for Okanagan Hockey Academy, doing all kinds of kids camps and just learning different tricks. And it's been awesome. So I think no matter what, I would like to be involved in the game for the rest of my life. So
Well, that's the right answer. Let's stick around in Glasgow, get your testimonial. Let's make that happen. I know you're busy. I know you've got family over, and I know there's a lot going off the ice. You've got lots going on next summer as well. So, what's the rest of the plan for the family being over? Anything special before they head back to Canada?
I don't think nothing too crazy. Just make sure they, kind of see everything that they can in the short time that they're here. Like I said, I'm really excited for them to come to Sheffield to see a road rink. They were blown away. Obviously, not the result we wanted against Manchester, but they were blown away with just the atmosphere at Braehead. Like they just couldn't believe it. My brother was posting Instagram stories, and people back home were like, "This is crazy! Like we got to get over to Glasgow." So like it's been awesome, and yeah, like I'm just happy that they're having a great time. I'm sure they wish it could last longer, but yeah. And then next thing you know, my grandma will be here again, so we'll be entertaining grandma.
Well, let's get them 2 points in Sheffield to round out the trip. That would be something special. And if your brother is promoting the atmosphere and the great situation for players, hopefully, well, get Matt Barzell on the phone. Maybe he'd like a change of pace. We'll get him in purple in the coming years. Look, thanks for taking the time to join us on Clanfidential. All the best to your family, and we'll see you soon. And all the best again against Sheffield home and away this weekend.
Yeah, thank you, Murph.